Hey everyone, this is Luminous and this is DCDH number 3, DCDH where we optimize our Dota play to improve our Dota game. That little catch slogan I came up with that. And today we're going to be talking about something that's more applicable to our daily play, unlike what we did in DCDH number 1, DCDH number 2. It was applicable, but it's not that applicable if you think about it. But today we're gonna go back to the core basic of Dota, and it is gonna be last hitting. You guys don't need me to tell you what last hitting is. All of you guys should already know what's the last hitting. But the thing is, if everyone know like what's the correct way to last hit, how come we have players like ZSMJ? How come we have player like Nirvana Zoe? And how come we have player like Luminous? Like there's a huge discrepancy of last hitting capability. So I mean, and jokes aside here, like a lot of us have trouble with last hitting, especially the support players. So this is more or less of, I guess, really telling you guys how I personally train of last hitting. And before you guys, just roll your eyebrow, like I know Dota is a game and you should have fun with it, but there are players that also want to take it to the next level. They want to be pretty competitive. They want to have a good in-house game, and that's where last hit comes in. You can't be expecting to auto attack in lane. You can't be expecting to do unoptimized play. So again, DCDH number 3 will be last hitting, and today we're going to talk about, I guess, a specific thing of how I train last hit. So you can see I already pick which doctor to last hit, and there's a Quap in lane, and you guys might be thinking, what the hell's going on? But let's move back to the last hitting aspect. First, my goal of today's last hitting is, oh, by the way, when I do quote unquote training, it's always great to have goals. So at the end of the day, you can examine, oh, did I miss a goal? Did I achieve the goal? What it's really a good idea of how you look at yourself in your daily training. Be like, okay, this is what I need to improve, and this is I'm good at this part, so I don't need to work on it just much. So setting goals beforehand is really, really important. So as I'm playing this right now, my goal is to have 50-50 CS. So that means 50 last hits and 50 denies, and that might be a tall order for myself, but I mean, this is training. It's okay if I don't achieve the goal. It's the process that count. And also the second thing I want to work on is my mini map awareness. A lot of players, when they last hitting, they just don't look at the mini map at all. You can see on the mini map, I'm actually using the Quap to run around on the mini map, and just using the mini map to kind of have a circle around this ancient camp, or not ancient camp, the pole camp on the Sentinel Forest. Now this exercise I'm doing for myself, not only will I train my last hitting, but I will also increase my minimap awareness, because for God's sake, if I'm hitting the minimap with Quap, if I'm moving the Quap with minimap, I have to, click on the minimap, and by clicking on the minimap, I'm looking at the minimap. So not only am I last hitting, but I'm also training my minimap awareness, which a lot of players don't have. So, and personally, I need to work on it as well. So I'm doing that as well. And thirdly, also I'm gonna be using the crow. So once I hit 200 gold, which I already have, and I don't know why I'm not buying the crow yet. Let me get this last hit. Yeah, once I get enough gold, I will be starting buying crow recipes, and I will start buying wards. I will start buying this, and I'm trying to do all of it without accessing without looking at the shop back in the fountain screen. Like I'm doing everything via hotkey, and you can see I'm I'm a little bit frantic right now. And to tell you the truth, I'm not making excuses for myself or anything, but fraps have a considerable delay. I'm not too sure whether you could tell from my gameplay. Like, man, I would get those denies. Goddamn. Okay, anyways, yeah, fraps have considerable delay time. So it's a little bit hard to play in your top level in terms of fraps, but when you guys are training for yourself, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And also, it's actually pretty damn hard to play and talk at the same time. I'm not sure if you guys, I don't know, like I'm like trying to collect my thoughts, and also I'm trying to trying to do last hits and then micro and then buy shit. It's pretty damn hard. But that's besides the point. So I mean, you guys are just watching me last hit, and you might be thinking like why the hell am I watching Luminous last hit? The thing is, everything in life, right? Like the more you do it, the better you are. And since I'm Asian, I'm gonna give you guys an example with piano. Like the more scales you play, like the better you're at doing scales, or the more of a particular song you play, the better you're doing at it. So much that at a certain point that you just commit to muscle memory that, okay, well, when I get to this part, I'm gonna hit this key, or when I'm doing this, I'm gonna do that. Like, muscle memory is pretty important in terms of Dota or in any other game, where you just train yourself to think, train your body to think a certain way. And this is exactly what we're doing right now. We're training yourself and training your muscle memory to last it properly, to look at the mini map doing so, and to just to increase your Dota efficiency. And I mean, again, going back to what I said earlier, there are players that just play this game for fun, and that's quite alright. That's quite alright. But this is more designed to help the players that want to improve at their last hitting, and to move to I guess a higher Dota level, if you will. So again, this is the more applicable version of Dota commentary, Dota help, where we kind of really apply our everyday knowledge of Dota and using it every game. And again, last hitting last hitting is the most applicable thing I could think of. So that's why we're doing kind of a lasting thing today. And again, going back to the quad thing that I'm moving around the jungle. If you're actually doing this for your practice, try not to cheat. But what I mean by trying to cheat is that if you're moving the quad, try not to make her walk insanely long amount of distance by clicking on a huge portion of the mini map, as I just did to show you guys right there. That of course will make Quap constantly moving, but she's not really constantly moving because you actually clicked her. That's because you're set at a really long distance. I hope you guys get my point. So that's going back to the piano analogy. If you keep training yourself to do something wrong, you're actually practicing to do something wrong and not practicing to do something right. So again, so it's very important that when you're practicing, you gotta really watch your practice ethics and not practice wrong. So as I'm gonna hit the 5-minute mark, I'm gonna do something different now. I'm not gonna be microing Quap via minimap. Instead, I'm gonna hotkey to her and then micro her via on the screen. You're gonna see in just a sec what I mean there. So yeah, I'm gonna jump to the screen and start microing Quap that way. So I gave myself 5 minutes of minimap training, and now I want to train something else. I'm gonna train my microing ability, and I also want to train my APM. And I'm going to talk about why those two things are important as well. So a lot of players, when they're last hitting in lane, it seems like A, they don't look at the mini map, which we just covered like 5 minutes ago, and B, they just focus so much on the hero that they don't think about anything else. They started to play like a robot, and that's really not what you want when you're playing Dota. Dota, you have to make constant decisions every second of game, especially when you're in a trialing, when you're in dueling. You have to make a lot of decisions at times, and sometimes, especially carry players, when they're last hitting in lane, they start being like robot. Okay, I'll get this creep, and I'll get that creep, and I get that creep, and even if they're looking at the mini map or doing other stuff, they don't think. And again, Dota is a very thinking intense game in my opinion. There's a lot of decision making, and having this kind of exercise make you to be like alert. You gotta be, okay, I'm gonna be last hitting, okay, I'm gonna be controlling Quap, I'm gonna go back to last hit, going back to control Quap. So not only this will improve your reaction rate, this will also improve your APM. And I know a lot of you guys saying that APM has really there's nothing to do with how good someone is in a game. But don't take this as a rule. Just chew on it as like a food for thought. The higher your APM is, generally, again, don't think of this as a rule, but think of it as a general standpoint. The higher APM is, the better you are at a game. Like, again, not a rule, just a general standpoint. Because really, there's no way where you get by with 40 APM in a game. There's just no way. Like, you can't. I mean, sure. Like, no, not like. Yeah, I'm not even gonna make the argument. Like, generally, most of the better Dota players I've seen, they are around 100 to 200 HPM. Of course, there are players. I think. There's a European pro, I think it's Pusher or something, which get by with fairly low APM, maybe 80-ish. But like that's more of the exception to the rule if you think about it. Most of the Chinese players are peaking at 180 APM, around 200 APM, and I mean, I don't need to preach to you guys how good the Chinese players are. So not only when you're microing the quad, like you switch, like I have my quad on hotkey 4, and I have Witch Doctor on hotkey 1, so hotkey F1. So I'm hitting 4 and F1 constantly as I'm last hitting and doing all that stuff. I mean, if you guys look at my CS right now, it's 32 and 26. It's not too good. Like I don't think I can even make my 50-50 quota. But again, it's not the point to make the quota or not. It's the point to, after these kind of practicing exercises, to know what you need to work on. And right now, I definitely need to work on my last hitting. But again, not to make excuses, fraps and talking when you're last hitting at the same time is fucking hard. And yeah, so I need to know. I know that I need to work on my last hitting. I also need to work on my kind of micro ability, because Quap a lot of times she's standing around, and I also need to work on how to not stutter more, because I feel like I'm stuttering a lot. And of course, I haven't been mentioning a lot, but throughout the whole game, I've been buying a lot on the Crow. Like you see, my money's constantly very low. I think I bought wards and stuff, and I bought shoes and I bought more wards and a TP scroll somewhere. So like I've been buying stuff. So again, I'm doing everything with hotkeys. I'm doing everything with yeah, with hotkeys without looking back to the fountain. And this is really what you should train yourself to do. And oh yeah, a really important training philosophy for myself is that I really like to overextend myself. And what I mean by this is, like, obviously I could just sit here and practice last hitting, and of course my last hitting will improve like that, but by making myself micro, by making myself look at the mini map, by making myself to spend money, I train to overexert myself so that in high pressure situations, let's say you're in a tournament or something, where basically you're home, like you're used to doing this, you're used to playing at high pressure situations, so that nothing could take you by surprise. Also, I really like to overexert myself. Let me give you guys a running analogy. If you guys always run with 10 extra pounds on you, by the time that you in a real running situation where you take off the 10 extra pounds, like you just feel like, oh damn, this is hella easy. I could run so easily, so fast. And this is more or less the same logic. If I overexert myself right now in a real game, it would just be that much easier. It would just be that much easier. So I mean, again, like this is not more or less like, okay, if I watch this DCDH number 3, I'll be pro last sitting. Again, everything we do in life is like, oh my god, oh, it's 10 minutes already. So yeah, sorry, I didn't tell you guys in the beginning, but I was gonna do this only for 10 minutes, and that would measure myself. So